presentation for the student sample for writing informational text. Some strengths that the student showed were introducing the topic to be discussed in the writing. So the student wrote, "How can I save water?" Um, he or she initially mentioned what the writing would be about. So this was saving water. I said the student does well mentioning how we might see the topic in our daily lives or the importance of the topic. So we need water to drink, wash clothes, bathe, and much more. So we need to save water, which also touches back on the topic to be discussed. And the student does well listing ways in which the problem may be solved. So the student does include solutions to the problem being us needing to save water. However, as I'll mention in the weaknesses, the student could have done a better job organizing the ideas around the topic. So some weaknesses where the student could use more practice using linking words and or phrases throughout the writing. So an example that I included from the student's writing was, rather than take quick showers, bath, take at least 37 gallons of water. The student may write something like, rather than taking baths, which can take at least 37 gallons of water, try taking quick showers instead. And also the student can use more practice organizing their ideas in order to clearly convey information. This may also be addressed or encouraged with the inclusion of linking words and phrases. So an example from the writing was, or at times during writing, the student goes out of order stating their ideas around in the topic. So the student wrote, remind people to turn off the water when not in use. Lots of people wait for the water from their sinks to get hot and cold. Put a bucket in your sink. When the bucket is full, you can use that water for lots of things. Even though it's not a run-on sentence, it kind of even sounds like a sentence, a long run-on sentence that just needs some kind of stopping in between and explaining or elaborating. So the standards that addressed that the student needs was write informative expository text to examine a topic and convey ideas and information clearly. B, introduce a theme and group related information together. Include illustrations when useful and aid information. I highlighted clearly group related information together. Develop the topic with facts, definitions, and details, and use linking words and phrases to connect ideas with categories of information. That whole objective is highlighted. Use linking words and phrases to connect ideas with categories of information. And I'm hoping by addressing this that the other highlighted areas for like clearly conveying ideas and information or grouping related information together or developing the topic with details, all of that can be addressed by practicing use of linking words and phrases to connect ideas with categories of information. So some instructional steps that I assume would be appropriate for the student. And in order to further develop the student's writing, the student should first be made aware of strengths and weaknesses in their writing. The student can be shown models of better writing in order to understand where their writing may have fallen short. So many times when being a student, even teachers would show a good writing sample from a previous class or something, just for us to get an idea of what we should be modeling our work against, what our writing should include, or what it should look like. This can be helpful for students to see where they have fallen short in their own writing. The student should have guided and independent practice working with adding linking words and phrases to their writing, and also elaborating when doing so, being shown examples of the importance of that and adding these to their writing. This can be presented through writing comparisons or showing writing without linking words and phrases in comparison to writing that includes linking words and phrases and elaboration, and the impact that these words and phrases and further elaboration with these words and phrases, linking words and phrases have on their writing. The students should use graphic organizers to help organize their writing. Organizers should include opportunity for students to add facts, definitions, and or details to their writing. So the graphic organizers should address adding linking words and phrases, as well as the opportunity to add facts, definitions, or details. That gives them that elaboration piece. So there you have them being able to add their elaborative details to their um, ideas, as well as working with these linking words. So they're kind of helping each other. I also said that students should participate in additional writing opportunities using given or chosen topics, such as that shown in the writing sample. And when asked to write, students should be given a rubric, which will help the student to determine whether their writing includes the necessary components. So this just gives the student a guide to kind of go back and have something solid to look at to see whether or not their writing aligns with what should be included in their writing. And the student may practice developing their writing through use of organizational prompts. According to Gunning, using instruction and prompts, the teacher gradually leads students to elaborate on labels and facts and organize the information being presented. Instead of using the traditional prompts, the teacher uses prompts that lead students to a higher level of elaboration and organization. So this addresses the students' weaknesses in their writing. So for student feedback, I would first make the student aware of their strengths in writing, stating that their text was overall well written. They included the topic of the writing and their inclusion of ideas throughout writing. So how we use water and ways that we can save water. But I would ask the student to reread their writing and ask them to point out anything that may be added or changed in order to make their writing better. I included this because a lot of the time, for me personally, rereading or being asked to reread and not just being told what needed to be fixed, I was able to kind of go back and be like, oh yeah, maybe this or this can be added, just as a helpful tool. Excuse me. I would also inform the student of areas in which I would then inform the student of the areas in which they could develop more. So those suggestions were linking words and phrases and organization, and state ways that we can practice in order to better their writing. So then to tell the student, along with their feedback, here are some steps that we can take to fix this. So here's my anchor chart, informational writing transitions. So this mentions the components of the writing, or the, I guess that can be an appropriate word. So like the topic, the facts or the details included with the facts, and then conclusion in short. It didn't seem like the student had a problem with the introduction and, the body following and the conclusion following the body, but it was just in between that needed to be addressed. So hopefully by adding some of these transitional words, linking words and phrases, they will be able to not only better organize their writing, but also better elaborate and add details to their ideas in their writing. And this graphic organizer is the same, well, not the same, but the goal is to help the student to organize their writing, and not only organize it structurally, but also the little details also. So this one actually has transition words on here so that the student can add those transition words, and then the supporting evidence or the elaboration after stating those ideas. So put a bath, put a bucket in the bath, so they can elaborate or better organize their writing. So this graphic organizer, the goal is to help them plan out, write out, see what they're adding to their writing. So how to save water, ways to save water. This is the goal, again, is just to help better organize the writing and to add elaboration as well. So this was my student rubric. This was somewhat derived, well, this was basically derived from a rubric that was given in the book. I can't recall the chapter. Maybe it was chapter 10, I apologize, but these are just components of the writing that the student can go back and make sure that they have. And all of these were the highest level. So if the student can say that their writing includes all of these, then their writing should be better, you know? So for introduction, does my writing state the topic? And sorry, trying to move on. And invoke interest for the reader. So the student can say yes or no. Yes, check. Development of ideas. Does my writing clearly explain the whole subject in discussion of main parts? The student can go back in their writing and say, yes, I have that. Details and examples. Does my writing include clear examples to support understanding? Organization. Does my writing include ideas that are logically grouped? Does my writing include clear transitions to convey relationship among ideas? Mentions. Does my writing, I need to correct myself. Does my writing include correct grammar with few distracting errors? And conclusion, does my writing include a strong concluding statement? So that is my presentation. These are my references. Thank you so very much.